You want to find out about 808s? Well, come on in then, bro. Right. Anyway, forget the hype, right? Forget the BS. I'll be straight with you, right? I'll be very straight with you. Nowadays, everybody wants to have, actually, not even nowadays, it's been happening for a long time. It's been going on for a long time. Everybody wants to have the perfect 808s, the beefy sounding 808s, the stomach wrenching, treble bringing, bass grabbing type of 808s. Everybody wants one of those, right? On their tracks, especially when you're making trap music. Now, a lot of people turn around and they experiment a lot, especially if you're making music at home and you want to figure out how to make your own 808s instead of getting a sample pack and just grabbing an 808 someone else has made. You want to figure out how to make your own 808s. There's so many ways you can construct an 808, right? But if you want to take a quick route out, you can go straight away and get a plugin. Now, there's several different plugins out there that can give you the sound that you want. Beefy, stacky 808s. There's so many plugins that claim to give you the sound that you want. Later on, to discover that you have to do a bit of hard work compressing, EQing, limiting, saturation, and all those things. But what you want to have is an 808 that comes straight out of the packet with a bit of oomph, right? Clarity. You have dynamics in it. The sound is clear and it is pristine. The whole issue with sound production is this: a lot of people make whack beats because of their sound selection. So why are you skimping out on your 808s? Get a plugin that does the job. If you get a plugin that claims to do the job and falls short, you're in trouble, right? And it took me a while to figure that one out. Now, I'll let you know 3 plugins that I have been using for over the past few years. And these are the plugins that I constantly go back to if I need to make an 808 when you want to pull up those how can I say, those tricks out of your bag. These are the ones that I actually use. Number one is Sublab. Everybody uses Sublab. There's so many reviews out there. I'm not gonna play the sounds here because I've you know, one 808 is gonna sound the same or whatever, right? So it's not me walking through the plugin. I'm just letting you know which ones are the ones to get, and you can do further research. I know it sounds like a cop out, whatever, but yeah, Sublab, great. Out of the packet, does what it says on the packaging, right? Out of the box, does everything. Omnisphere has got a collection of other sounds. It just doesn't do bass. But what it does is that it's got a section here for synth bass where you can actually select from a range of basses, which are a bare bag amount. And from then onwards, you can even tweak them to your preferences through the effects that they actually give you. And yeah, I think with Omnisphere, for what it's worth here in Australia, I think it comes up to about 800 something bucks. So it's a very expensive plugin, but it's worth it because you just don't get bass lines. You've got strings, you've got pads, you've got voices, textures, and all sorts of things that you can actually add onto your tracks to give them that little bit of je ne sais quoi. Now, what's number 3? You wondering? Why is he banging on and on about all of these things and he's not talking about number 3? Well, number 3 is bass synth. Now, you definitely, if you want to add, oh look at that wheel of death, rainbow. If you definitely want to add character to your 808s or have an 808 with character, I'll definitely go for bass synth. Now with bass synth, the one thing that I actually like about it, in comparison to Sublab, is that it's got different types of bass lines. So you've got organic sounding bass lines, you've got plugged bass lines, you've got synthy type bass lines, brassy type bass lines, and you also have your generic 808 sub type bass lines. So you can actually choose them over here, and you don't stop there as well. It becomes more or less like a cross between Sublab and Omnisphere for a fraction of the price if you've got Contact Player, and if you've got the full version, which I actually am still thinking of getting. But after looking at the current economic climate right now, I don't think I should be investing in Contact Full Player right now. I got other plugins to get. But hold up, look at this. It's beautifully made. It's weird. It's like every time I log into this, I feel like I'm about to watch a space movie of some sort. But this plugin has got different aspects of it where you can stack different sounds, and you can actually have your 808 sounding the way you want. So you can have different sounds, and pretty much the 808s in, or the bass lines in here, are sometimes stacked on different sounds as well. So you can play around with them. So let's say, for example, let me go here, just randomly grab one there and load that one up. And you can see here from the design, it's got different parts of the 808 being accentuated by different types of sounds from a different 808. And yeah, it sounds great. I know that sounds pretty weak, but if we go an octave down. So yeah, sounds pretty decent. And was that an octave, or was it 2 octaves? But yeah, if I knew what I knew about 808s, I'll definitely spend money on these three, sorry. Sublab, Omnisphere, and Bassynth. These are the ones that I found that top the rest. Now, I might even do a video on the worst, because from what I've downloaded in the past and what I've got, I think I've got a fair bit that are like the worst, bro. Yeah, I think I've got a fair bit that are the worst. There's some that surprise me, that don't really make it onto my top 10 list. I got one that if I'm really desperate, I'll go for, and that's 808 Studio Bassynth. Yeah, I like this one. Oh, sorry, it's Ignite. Sorry, 808 Studio Ignite. It's okay. It's okay. I was a little bit disappointed when they released, and I'll try and close a few windows here. When they released another one out there, and that was the new one. I'll try and find it. Oh, come on, bro. I think it's by Initial Audio. Initial Audio's got really cheap plugins, but they do the trick. So what they did was they had this one here, 808 Studio. It's the same thing with just a different library. That's what I noticed. I think you do have a few other options here, but to be honest with you, if you've got 808 Studio, the first one, I think you're doing good, bro. The second one, not so much. I don't think I've actually used this on any song. But the first one, this was the beginning stages when I was starting to make my 808s, and this served me justice. But I had to go back in and process. So if you really need another one other than Sublab or Bassynth or Omnisphere, yeah, go for this one. It's just as good as well. But I think you're stepping up your game once you go to Sublab and the other two. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the plugins. So actually, it's not even 3, right? I gave you 4, man. No, actually, I gave you 5, bro. Man, surprises all around then, innit? Surprises all around. Okay, cool. Anyway, check you guys later.